Tuesday afternoon, and we are live talking a lot about Disney, Universal, living in Orlando. We're going to talk really briefly around if I was going to relocate again here to Orlando, what I would do. What's the process that we would go through? We've got some NBA news. Steph Curry buying a place here. Talk a little bit about that. So let's get into it today. Chase Farmer, how are you, buddy?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing well. It was hot as crap out there today. I had to be outside a ton today.
I looked at the weather calendar. It's like 95 every day for like the prolonged future.
Yes, summer is like officially here. When all the locals start complaining about the heat, that's when summer actually starts. Like that should be a calendar day where people are like, "Hey, it's July 4th, and now it's time to melt your face off." So wait, how long have you lived here again?
I mean, I've lived in Orlando now for what, 2-3 years almost now?
Yeah. So we talked about, I've been here for 6 years now. And if I was going to restart over again, like there's a few things that I would think about maybe differently. I think I would probably visit a little bit more. Like the amount of, do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. Like, keep going. I have my feelings.
What's up, Nick? Nick's Drive. Good to see you. What's going on? Shadameen from Atlanta. Good to see you. Kevin Smith, probably not the real Kevin Smith. Probably not. But what's up, dude? Writer says it's hot in Orlando. I think that when people relocate here, they should for sure spend some time in some of these areas. Like I think if you move here because you're a theme park fan, a lot of people call me and they're like, well, I want to live in Celebration. I'm like, that's cool. Like I love Celebration. Celebration's dope. It's super close to the parks, nice houses, upscale neighborhood. But like, have you tried anywhere else first? Like, have you maybe driven through some of these areas? Some people like they cross out downtown Orlando like right away. Like, no way do I want to live in downtown Orlando. And yet I'm like, have you spent any time there? Because it's actually amazing. I don't know. What do you think? What was like your process when you came back? Was it just like the most affordable spot? Was it like stuff you wanted to see? What was it?
Mine was just I wanted to be in Orlando, and I was living in Palm Coast at the time. I got a job and I was like, I have to be there because like I can't live an hour and a half away. So it was a very quick process. I did not do nearly enough research. If I would have never picked the first place that I was at.
Yeah.
And I really wish, because like I didn't really figure out Orlando until I moved here, and then I was discovering things on my own. So like 100%. And I also think that anybody who's thinking about living here needs to visit during the hot season, so you know what it's like.
You know what you're getting into. By the way, we always like to start out our videos. Where are you guys watching from today? Some of you already know, so you're checking in. That means the world to me that we kind of got some flow that people can expect. But let me know where you're watching from. Are you local? Are you thinking about moving here? Are you just kind of a voyeur wondering what's going on in Orlando? Let us know in the comments below, even if you're watching on the replay. So dude, let's see. Chris had mentioned, what's up from Miami? Your video's looking amazing. Dude, I had the worst internet issues. I don't know what was going on over the weekend. Did you see my replay?
I sure did.
It was horrible. And the fact that like 5,000 people watched the replay, like also makes me feel like maybe I'm doing something right. But it was garbage. So I apologize.
The information was good.
It was more of a podcast, like you didn't really have to watch the thing. Kevin Smith from Northern VA. What's going on? Framingham? Massachusetts? Huh? Framingham, there we go. Downtown Orlando smells like weed. Well, so does a lot of companies. So there's a lot of places in the world these days, for sure. Burke VA relocating to what's going on from November, December, Orlando. That's awesome. David from SoCal, Bill from Wekiva Springs, Horizon West in the house. Yeah, that's cool. I think we've got a really good vibe all over, which is super, super cool. Matt is sad that he's in Illinois, and I get it. Illinois. Let's talk about a few things going on here. So did you hear about Steph Curry? About his house he bought?
I did not.
You know who Steph Curry is?
I do, but I am not a basketball guy.
That's all right. So Steph Curry, he plays for the Golden State Warriors in LA. The guy's like finals MVP. He's just a total stud. And he bought a place in Winter Park for $2.1 million cash, which is quite nice. If you got it, you should spend it. But apparently he bought it for one of his family members, which I need more family members like that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, a little bit of little bit of love from the family, not too bad. Winter Park's amazing. Like you hang out there from time to time, yeah.
It's crazy, like just seeing the outside of the house. Like obviously the inside is beautiful, I'm sure, but like what a $2.1 million house in Winter Park looks like versus like across the world. Like, I mean, it's just it's beautiful, right? But like
Yep.
you think about 2.1 million and you're like, oh my God. But like for you to get that in the area, that you can do it. You can get those crazy looking houses for that same price range that have like way more bedrooms and all that stuff. But like
Yep.
in Winter Park, you gotta pay the price.
Yeah. So our boy Farmer George says Golden State plays in San Francisco, not LA. My bad. In California they play, but where I do know is in Winter Park where he purchased. The cool thing I love about Winter Park, dude, is like every house there is different, right? It's not the same cookie cutter place. Like you don't go to Winter Park and you really see the same house twice ever, and that's
No.
kind of a rarity. I mean, like downtown Orlando, you see that some of the outskirts, but like so much of Orlando has been built up over the past 25 years, and it's like new neighborhood after new neighborhood, which is not a terrible thing. So
I mean, I just prefer those. Like, I don't love the cookie cutter like neighborhoods, even though you're gonna get like a beautiful home. Just having that like difference in look visually,
yeah,
because like I just went over there the other day and I saw a house that it's been sitting for probably since I moved here like 3 years ago, and that somebody must have bought it because they've like completely redone it, but they've kept the bones of it.
yeah.
And it's just like those old looking houses are very cool across like right next to something super modern.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's why you see a lot of teardowns in those areas too, because they're buying the area. Land value is kind of skyrocketed through the roof, which is insane.
Yeah.
What's up, David from the UK? Good to see you, my friend. Here's an interesting question from Matt. As far as areas go, how do Davenport, Haines City, Point Siena, and Winter Haven all compare? It does seem like there's a price difference from all these places being so reasonably close together. I mean, like Davenport's going to be the most expensive out of those four, but they're all kind of like this similar kind of vibe. Like it's kind of like Claremont, Mineola, Groveland. They're all kind of like right there next to each other in Lake County. Very similar home styles, very similar socioeconomically. Davenport has a ton of short-term rentals. You've got Champions Gate there. You've got literally a dozen other short-term rental communities. So you get that, which is why you'll see a price differential. You've got a lot of these resort communities. But Point Siena, Winter Haven, Haines City, those are all like very similar in my opinion. Yeah, that's it. Affordable options, which is cool. Let's talk about this other one, man, that you found today, which I think is really exciting. Lord of the Rings rumored for Epic Universe. What do you think about this?
So this has been a rumor for probably like over 10 years now at this point. Originally, people thought that it was going to be put in where like the comic book area is in Islands of Adventure in between like Marvel and Jurassic Park.
Yep.
So that was like an original thought behind it. And then in like 2019, that's whenever people really thought that it was going to happen because a bunch of art started to surface, like concept art that got created,
Yep.
and then it was showing up on people's resumes who had worked at Universal. So
Ah.
now people are speculating that it's not going to be in the first batch of the new park. So like the new park, I think it's going to have How to Train Your Dragon, Nintendo, monsters, like classic monsters, and then a Wizarding World area, some sort of new Harry Potter area. But
Yep.
this would be in like their phase 1 expansion of Epic Universe, and it would be in a slot that would be like 17 or 18 acres. So it would be the biggest land within the park.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would love to see them do Lord of the Rings. It's been speculated on for so long, and there's nowhere in the world where you can experience a ride or an attraction or even that space, right? Like you walk into Harry Potter Land and you're transported there. I want to go to the Shire.
Yeah.
I want to go do all that.
100%. I feel like it's interesting because like I'm a much more of a Disney fan than Universal, although we've been spending more time at Universal as of late. I feel like a big difference there is that like Disney's theming is so separated. Like you don't feel like you jumped from Tomorrowland to Adventureland without a little bit of like buffer and like, you definitely immerse. Whereas Universal, they did Harry Potter, like the Harry Potter lands really right, because you feel like you're entering a new land. And I would imagine that the Lord of the Rings would be the kind of the same, immersion, which is what I think a lot of us are looking for and a lot of the theme park things are doing nowadays.
I think I'm not totally sure, but I believe at least for that area, and for some of these areas coming up, they're going to be within buildings. So like that's another thing that would be really cool is you can do so much more whenever you're enclosed. They can do like they could make the walls like they could do projection to make it look like you're in a massive building, like
Yep.
much bigger, like it could be endless. So I mean, like being able to have that transfer as well, it's like you really are either there or you're somewhere completely different. You know, there's like a portal or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. You know, especially with some of these buildings and sound stages are just massive, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like, we watched the stunt spectacular for the first time maybe a few weeks ago,
Yep.
and bro, I was so shocked to see how huge that was. Like, the queue was giant, the rooms were giant, like the theater was huge, and I mean, the more you can put under air, I know it would be expensive to run, but makes the whole heat a little bit more
I mean, that's what they did
enjoyable.
in Dubai. I don't know if you've seen those theme parks that are over there, but
I
like
haven't.
it's these giant theme parks that are completely indoors.
Yeah. Yeah. So a couple of things here that and Ron, I'll get to your question in regards to the temporary housing in just a hot minute here. But here's some people talking. So Nicholas mentioned, you know, any rumors on Disney adding a fifth gate in response to Epic, and then Skywalker says no rumors for fifth gate. I haven't heard any. I haven't seen any in permitting. I haven't heard any talks about it. But this is an interesting comment because, you know, is Disney going to do anything in response to Epic Universe? There's plenty of articles coming out lately that Disney might be losing a step to Universal. People, you know, I talked to a travel agent friend of mine the other day, and he said it used to be that people would call and say they wanted to go to Disney and they would spend 5-6 days at Disney and 1 day at Universal.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a couple years ago, it was like, hey, maybe we'll go 50-50. And he's like, for 20 years, they had only seen like, you know, that like 90% Disney, 10% Universal. Now it's getting to be more and more 50-50. And so I think you add on this Epic Universe thing and Disney's got to do something, you'd think.
Yeah. I mean, like they're so different and there are so many benefits of each one, right? Like I think about there are certain attractions that are at Universal that I feel like are they reach like a certain level of quality that some of the things that Disney historically haven't necessarily met. But I mean, like as we see these new attractions come, we're seeing like each side is matching each other as far as quality and like innovation and things like that.
Yeah.
But then like with Disney, like I don't think you have anything at Universal as far as like dining experience wise that matches anything at Disney. Like
Yeah.
Disney's like I think about Space 220 or something like that. I mean, like something like that is just not accessible at something like Universal.
Yeah, I agree. I know even the food is not awesome at Space 220, but the theming draws you in.
Yeah.
Like we rode the Star Cruiser, as you know, and that the theming of that and like the whole experience was like way next level, right? And maybe that's what Disney's looking to do is like, hey, we don't need the average park goer anymore. We're trying to do bigger, more expensive. You know, they've got the Disney Wish they just launched. They've got all these other kind of things that they're spending money on, and they've got a lot of refurbing to do, man. Like we were there last week, and again, I'm a huge Disney fan, and yet it was sad to see like how many things were kind of like broken around the parks that hadn't been updated yet.
Yeah. And I mean, another thing to talk about is like, you still can't get an annual pass.
Right.
Like,
and it's packed. It's still packed.
It is unbelievably packed to a point where like, it's hard to want to go sometimes because you're like, I'm going to have to, like, this is not going to be just a stroll. You have to plan it out or you have to go in prepared. Like, there's going to be so many people. And Universal, you can buy an annual pass. You can walk in day of. You don't have to book anything. You can literally just walk into the park. You can get there at 5:00. You can get there after work. You can do that, and it's not an issue. Where at Disney, it's like, not only are you going to get there and you have to have it booked ahead of time, but you're going to have to fight crowds still that late in the afternoon. So
yeah, right on. Joel says, hey, Foxtail can't ignore you anymore. You're in the same building. We are, man. Wait till we're done. We're going to be there every day. And just like, you know, give us a sponsorship. And then we actually can't go away after that because then we'll have to. Dan says that Rock and Roller Coaster gets official Marvel retheme. That would be sweet.
Well, it did in, what was it, Disneyland Paris? Is that where it just, I think it just announced that it just came out because I watched a video of it, which is very cool. And I think it needs to happen, even though Rock and Roller Coaster is like nostalgia to me, like 100%, but also like I love Aerosmith, but somebody who's young is like, who is Aerosmith? Who is this man?
We did a VIP tour last year, or I don't know, maybe earlier this year, and our VIP guy said that the Great Movie Ride went away because their whole deal with what is it, was it
Yeah,
TMC?
it's the Turner Classic. Yeah,
Yeah,
TCM, Turner
TCM, well, yeah,
Classic.
Turner
Yeah.
Classic Movie, that their whole deal was done. But then it was also the fact that like all of these kids show up and they're like, "Who's John Wayne? Like, who's like, like,
What is
uh,
Casablanca?
what is Casablanca?" Yeah, I mean, like that's one that I missed near and dear to my heart for sure. Holly's got a whole bunch of good points. Theme park wars. At the end of the day, we all win because
100%.
we get so many more people for you and I in the real estate business and the content business, and living here, everything is just gets better and better, which is kind of fun.
I need them to both stay at their max abilities so that they're constantly, because I
We
mean,
need
like,
you both to
yeah,
level up, and
yeah.
then we'll kind of keep rolling from there. I want to go back to a question that Ron said. So, thoughts on strategy of being well informed relocating, rent for 3 to 6 months. Is it possible to buy from afar? He's concerned about not knowing Orlando anymore after being away for 20 years. Listen, being away for 20 years, things have massively changed. Shoot, I've lived here for 6 years and things have massively changed.
Yeah.
And so I would definitely say come spend a few weekends, getting to drive the areas. Now, we don't really have short-term rentals in most of the suburban areas or the downtown areas. So if you're going to do like a 3-month lease, it's tough. You have to sign a 1-year lease and then break it, which could cost you a little bit of money. But not a terrible idea to at least get to know the area. So typical in our area, you have to spend 2 months of your rent to break the lease. And so it's definitely possible that you could do that. Just have that sort of budgeted. Most places will let you out of the lease if you pay those 2 months or those 2 months. But you could always spend a few weekends here, come or spend a full week driving around. Reach out to us if you're looking to buy. We can definitely show you around and kind of go from there. So that's my biggest point is I think from a perspective of where am I going to spend my time? Is it work? If you work from home, are you going to spend time at the theme parks? Do you not like theme parks at all? So you want to get as far away as you can, but you're still here for work. There's all those kind of things to think through. And then I would also say, I've got some friends of mine moving from Chicago down, and they're like, they want to live in either Winter Park or Celebration. They're not really sure. And so they are going to rent for 6 months in both places and just kind of get to know life in and out. Like how close is Publix? How bad is the traffic? How far am I from the airport? Like, how does that feel? And then you'll make the best decision from there.
Yeah.
Anything you'd add?
I mean, I think that 100% you need to, I think you can probably figure it out on your own without having to rent if you spent maybe 2 weeks, maybe spread apart like 2 different trips.
Yeah.
And like you could really get to know certain areas if you really focused and wanted to make that the goal.
Yep.
But I mean, otherwise, yeah, it's changed so dramatically.
Yeah. Right. Or the whole rent to own thing is, I mean, the market is still blazing hot, even though it's slowed down over the past 2 months. It's still crazy hot. So there's not a lot of rent to own options anymore. Like rent to own options start popping up a lot when it's a strong buyer's market and sellers don't know what to do. So they start offering out things in order to do it. Jeremy Knight, our favorite Austin realtor, is checking in. He's trolling us in the comments because Jeremy's just naturally a troll, even though he's a great agent in Austin. No, I'm not moving to Austin. Definitely not. You even left Austin, Jeremy. So anyways, let's talk about, so you do our food reviews, a lot of our food reviews anyways. And so you had something to say about the walking taco. So what is this?
So this is, I think this has already existed before it's coming to Disney, right? And I kind of want to know in the comments kind of what people think about it too. But it is basically a bag of Fritos that they throw a bunch of meat, cheese, sauce, rice, lettuce, tomato in, and you shake it up. And they call it the walking taco, but you like, I don't know if you're supposed to eat this with your hands or with a fork. What is the preferred way to do that?
Wait, do you like Fritos?
I love Fritos, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing for me, right? This is a messy option. This is not something that you're going to be walking around and can you imagine? I may be on my own here, right? And that's why I want people to tell me if I'm on my own here. But like you grab this bag, you grab basically a large bag of chips. They throw a bunch of stuff in it. You shake it up, and then you eat it with. I guess that is a spoon. I guess you eat it with a spoon. So.
Oh, there you go, right there.
Yeah.
Why not just tacos though? Like why?
That's my thing, right? Why not just
grab some tacos? Like that doesn't look. massively appealing. Although, like, if you're looking to free, like, why not this? Why don't they just make a taco out of a Frito and then you're
Yes,
good? That seems
100%.
the walking taco. I don't know. It kind of sounds good. It kind of sounds
Well,
amazing.
but no, I'm sure it would be delicious, right? But it's like $12 for basically a bag of chips with some meat and rice in it. So
Yeah.
if you're going into Disney too, I want to know what these comments say. What are they saying? More like
Somebody says,
walking
so Ron says it's
nachos.
an easy meal. The walking taco is so confusing. I
Yeah.
agree. Jeremy says in Texas they call it the Frito pie. They would call it that in Texas.
Yeah, I've
Who
heard of
wants to
that.
live in Texas? Ugh. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm just trolling him. More like walking nachos.
Yes.
It is. That's what it should be called.
Yes.
Walking nachos.
Yep. Walking tacos.
That actually makes more sense. Astronaut eats.
Yeah.
Matt says they're big in the Midwest. They call them Frito boat or Frito pie. All
Yeah.
right, well, there you go.
So I mean, I'm sure it's delicious, but if I'm gonna grab something on the go, I'd probably get like the cheeseburger spring rolls or something like that.
Oh.
That is a walkable, delicious food item.
Bro, those burger spring rolls,
they're
and the pizza
so
one,
good, so good.
Yeah, I ran there when I heard that the stand was opening up. He said, Johnny says, "What's up from Livonia, by the way? You can walk around without losing any of it." Yeah, I guess so. And listen, and for like $27, which is probably how much it is, you don't want to lose any of it.
It's $12. It's
that's not
$12.
bad.
I mean, it's not in Disney standards. It's not the worst thing.
Right on. So what's we've been talking a lot about the real estate market, and this is, I think, where we're going to end today. Let's see. So what did you learn in our team meeting today while I pull this up?
I mean, what are you looking for? What are you looking for from me?
I'll just give it to you. So we talked a little bit about the interest rates going up and how people are like, oh, inventory is starting to climb. Things are kind of like changing more than they were not too long ago, right? And but if you look at month over month currently, we have, I'm actually going to try to share this screen. Let's see. Window. Man, this thing, Jeremy, I'm not sure if you could tell me how, man. The window thing just been crashing on me lately. It's kind of the worst. Anyways, you look at the average list to sale ratio, meaning like the house was listed for X and it actually closed for Y. What is that actual ratio? And currently it's still 100%. It's actually 100.3%. Like, so things are still selling for darn close to full asking price, which I think is very different than what most people assume when they hear that the market is slowing down.
Yeah.
That also being said, you look at inventory. Inventory is up 137% in the past 90 days, which is a ton of houses. But we still have not hit what we were at this time last year. And so although inventory is climbing, days on market have gone from like 13 days. It took you on average 2 weeks to sell your house. Now it's taking 3, maybe 4 in some areas. The sky isn't falling just yet. And so that's what we're waiting for. I'm waiting for, like, everybody's been talking about a recession for the past 4 years. And like, we're just kind of waiting for all of this interest rate stuff to kind of figure itself out. I don't know. Yeah. It'll be interesting. Very interesting. Thanks for fixing the Wi-Fi. Thank you. Absolutely. Kevin Smith says, what are the top 5 downtowns in Central Florida in terms of spending the day, grabbing lunch and taking a stroll and relaxing? I mean, obviously I'm a big fan of Winter Garden, where we moved. I think Mount Dora is a sleeper town. Like, make sure you check that out. Mount Dora honestly has the most amount of shops and like places to eat in this like really small town. So for Mount Dora to have that much is kind of a weird thing. But I think it's great. Claremont is, I think, probably on the come up, the downtown Claremont area. If you haven't been there yet, the downtown like business authority is investing and getting grants to help people open new businesses. And so like that whole Main Street area down there 2-3 years ago was not somewhere you'd want to hang out. Now there's like a new food hall there. There's just a ton of different stuff that I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Top 5 beyond Winter Park would be on my list. And then give me one more.
Those are all the ones that I was going to list. What is number 5?
I don't know. I don't know if I would call Downtown Celebration like a really walkable day kind of thing. It's kind of like it's a beauty walk. I think there's a lot of like, it could be like if you grab a drink and you walk around the lake or whatever. Yeah. Sanford, Farmer George says downtown Sanford. I actually, believe it or not, I've only driven through it. I've not hung out there. But I know like Gio on our team, and there's a few others on our team that go to downtown Sanford all the time and rave about it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of wild. Big Orange, this is an interesting one. Like, rents are up 10%. Yeah, it's true. So since rates have gone up. So that's the thing. Like, as demand slows down a little bit, you would think that where those people still have to move somewhere, right? And they're probably going to continue to rent, which is just only more so going to make your rental payments continue to rise. And so that kind of makes you want to swing back around and buy a house. The big thing around it is like, and we'll wrap up kind of here for today, is we've been talking a lot about interest rates going up, your monthly payments going up, right? So you might have to say, okay, I can still afford X, and I wanted to live in Winter Park, and maybe I need to live in Maitland instead, right? Or I wanted to live in Windermere, and maybe I need to live in Claremont instead.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I think a lot of people are making those decisions now based on what their budget can afford. And so, yeah, it's just kind of time to shift. People are like taking a pause for a minute and figuring out like, where is it that I want to move? So
Yeah.
Right on, man. I think that's about it. St. Cloud is a decent vibe. Have you been to downtown St. Cloud?
Mm-mm.
I
I've
haven't
not.
either.
There's still so many. I feel like I've been doing this for a while now, and I still feel like there are areas that I need to like really get in and learn.
Yeah. I'm in St. Cloud all the time, but it's more like this like the new suburban St. Cloud, like the Sun Bridges and all those kind of things up and down Narcoossee.
Yep.
But yeah, we gotta check out some downtown St. Cloud. But I think that's it. Chase Farmer, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for everybody who tuned in live. If you made it this far into the video, hit the like button for me and subscribe to our channel. We're doing these videos every single week. Next week, we've got an update on some Horizon West stuff, a new listing kind of tour, new format that we're going to try out. We're going to be going live probably every week from here on out. So make sure you drop in the comments what you'd like to see next. We'll see you guys on the next video. See you later.
See ya.